Okay, we had to make sure that that end of each end of the camper and the floor were exactly the same. We had to make a small adjustment off camera. Got both sides put on. They're going to be exactly 4 foot and side to side. But what I have to do next is I've got to get my 1.5 inch, 1/4 inch size carriage bolts, and it's going to take about 4 along the length of this. It might be 5. I forgot what is on the other side. But anyways, once we get those in, it's set where it's going to be. And then we can get started on the roof, but we'll talk about that as soon as I finish this. All right, I think about 1, 2, at least 4 more down this side, and then we will be structurally sound here. But if you remember in the earlier videos, we were talking about how far this comes under. It looks really nice that way, but I think you've just really sacrificed height on the inside. But I mean, what's the difference between 43.5 and 47.5 when you're inside a teardrop? Maybe it's a lot, I don't know. But that's where we're at, and I'm gonna finish this up. Okay, walls are attached. It's looking good. I think the amber shellac is gonna glow in this small space. I'm not a teardrop guy. I think I want a little more comfort than that. But I appreciate these little guys. And I appreciate how fast you can put them together. So I think that's kind of cool. So I'm going to keep looking through here. I've got some things I need to clean up. Like this doesn't have a carriage bolt at this end. So I'm going to take and put a screw in it. A couple of screws to pull it in tight. There's just going to be things like that that happen. It's just going to happen. I'm going to, I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's some uneven spots. Probably wouldn't make a big difference. That one would. Can you see that one? So I'm going to go through with some very aggressive sand discs and get everything just smooth, especially this top part real level. Get it to where, you know, an 1/8 inch on an edge, by the time you add another 3/4 of an inch of top rail, you know, you're getting noticeable. So, and I do that on every camper. I just come along here to this edge and just find the spots that bump up a little bit. Probably would never notice it if I didn't. I would, Ron would. So guess what? I'm gonna do that right now. When I say aggressive, I mean upside down 60 grit. I tell you, I get this Diablo stuff. I know it's more expensive, but man alive, that was awkward. Man alive, does it do the job. So 60 grit, gonna pop this on here, and we're gonna clean this up. Okay, let me kind of show you the difference now, if I can. Just see if you can't follow this. I'm feeling with my finger and I'm watching, okay? There's no real elevated spots on that. Now, let's look here. Whoop, there we go. See, you can see that one right there. It's just, can you see it? Just a minor dip, little high right here, little high there. So I will avoid this spot. Let me extend my arms. I'll hit this, miss this, hit that, come up here. Now see, that's gone over there. You didn't even see that. But this is pretty smooth right up to here. Then it really elevates. We got to get rid of that so that we can come along here. So that's what I did on that side. But now I have to do I think it's like 13 feet, 12 feet, something like that. I didn't measure it exactly yet because I just got my first 8-footer that I'm going to put on here, but we'll know exactly. I'm just going to clean that up, and it'll make a world of difference. But unless you saw it the first time, I guess you wouldn't notice. But it will make a world of difference if you just get an aggressive grit and it looks like that instead of that. Give it a try. If you disregard my handprints in the sawdust, just kind of follow this one. And then this one I think is almost a little easier to follow because it's a little darker. But as you follow that, you can kind of see that it really, I think we're losing it now, cleaned up well. That it is well within tolerance. I could see a little bump there, but it's okay. You know, you're only going to get so close. But I'm telling you, that's as smooth gets, and that's a real smooth shot. Let me back that out for you. Look at that. That's a looker right there, boys. There's the ceiling. I've already put the shellac on it, the amber to it. I got to make my measurements, and I will, at that point, get everything going for the top piece. There's some things I need to figure out. Like it has a real crazy part of the roof that goes way past that and under here. I don't know what's on this side. I know what's on this part of the back. I don't know what's on here. So I will figure that out. There's a website that has some of these guys on there, and it will show you. So I'm sure there's just something I could take from one side to the other and make it, see, look at all, to me that's wasted space. But to them, I think it's just aesthetic. I think they like the look of it, the people that built this. Now that I'm doing this, I can see I need to get a little more rough with that one. This one looks way smoother. I must have just missed that. But you can see how clean that is underneath. And as I told you before, Ron doesn't want to put any sealant whatsoever under here, except where these come together. Where the seams from one piece of wood to another comes together, we're going to do that as much as we can so the water doesn't kind of splash where it doesn't need to splash. But I'm going to get back with him on that. All right, I wanted to show you the walls. The walls are looking good. Hey, just real quick, sorry, I forgot to show you. I did come up and put some screws in here because this is the last carriage bolt holding that in there. So I put a couple more up there. So that last carriage bolt is about right there. And so all that going through here wasn't really attached. Now there's going to be some interesting stuff happen on the back here, but I did go ahead and put one in there anyway. We're right here. But let's just do that. But there's going to be a piece under here on the inside that will help make up for that. But I was at it, so I put that in there. All right, I'm not holding you up. I just wanted to show you. I'm hopeful that you can see all the way up here, because it looks like when I see it on camera you can, at least where I'm sitting. We're going to build the ceiling. Now this is unique because it has a hatch. It's not unique to teardrops, it's unique to Robin the Rebuilder. So I'm going to stop short with my ceiling build at the 8-foot mark, which will be somewhere around where the hatch will get started. And Ron is going to come back and we're going to work on that one together. So that makes me happy. He's done it before, he's seen it before, so we're going to work on that one together, and that's good. But I got to get to a point that it's good for him to come back so that he can get here, put his time in, and not waste his time waiting on me. Enough about that. I haven't measured this yet. It better be 4 feet across, okay? So we go right here where it's stabled. stabled. Exactly 4 foot. On the 16th, my friends. That's good. Now I have to adhere to that measurement all the way up. Now let me get a marker here, because you know I always am prepared. Okay. We can only go to there because of these. Okay. So our first, let me get my 4 foot level right here. So that first one is just like on any Scotty or most anything else that we build. It's going to sit right here. That first 1x4 starts right there. And this is okay for all the wood, what we're talking about, but there's going to be metal that wraps under. We talked about that in the last video. So first one is going to go here, and they're 3.5 inches high, and just for the sake of it, we're going to say, well, let's just measure. How about that? 3 1/2. That's where the first one is going to go. And of course, the Luana is on it. But first, I'm just getting this out of my mind. I'm like, I like it when I talk to you guys, because then I'm like, I have to get it right, because, well, there is such a thing as do it twice theater. But not when I do this. We work this out. So there's the first one. And I, would normally only put one at the beginning, one at the end, and maybe one in the middle. But we're making this curve. So there's not going to be a window, so there would definitely be a couple in for the window. So we need to put one probably here. I don't know. I mean, that looks like a reasonable place to put one. Can you even see that mark? I think you can. Does that help? And then here's where it starts. So if I put the top, and then it comes down this way, then I could probably lower this one a little bit to here. X that out. And then we're boom, boom, real stable right here. Because it's going to be super stable down here, because it goes all the way across and then up. It's already a 90-degree angle. The further we get out this way, the more floppy it's going to get. And it's also a good idea to put one right before the bend, because we've got to put a cabinet here. We need something to nail into the cabinet. Although this is enough, it's nice when that's there. Then I think we should consider, remember that stuff. I'm going to move you up and maybe back a little bit. Maybe that'll be a little more helpful. All right. This is how I would say, estimate that this one breaks right here. And I have found that a lot of times people will take a 1x4, cut it in half, and put one like right here and right here, just to help it maintain the curve. So we're going to have, okay, this is 2 big ones. So 2, 3, 4. So there's going to be 4 1x3s here, and then 2 cut in half there, just to maintain the curve. And really, when you're driving down the road, it's all hitting you here. Okay? I think that is fine to do that. Now, one thing I would like to do, and I was not planning on doing it, but let's do it anyway. What do you say? Can you see far enough? That's too much. That's way too much. The camera work wrong. Hey, thanks. All right, so if I take this guy right here, flexible tape measure, and I'm going to start him on this hook right underneath. Get out of there. There we go. It's going to be right on the edge of the bottom. Now I just got to kind of keep this here like that. Hey, that's laying down just right. What we're looking for is 8 feet. 6 feet, 7 feet. Here's 8 foot right here. Can you see that? Okay. So that is how long, jeez, that is how long the roof is going to be, because we're going to use a 4x8 sheet. Because I was thinking, well, I'm going to take that 4x8 sheet, cut it in half, have a 4. I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's only 4. You're not. What are you cutting 4s when you have a long 4? So that's what I'm going to do. So if I look at this, you remember that bottom part. So let me take you up top here. And I get all the way down here for 8 foot. Somewhere in between here and here is going to be this guy. This is so cool. I'm pretty sure this came out of Dandy. Tracy will be so proud that it's getting on the road. I told her I'd get it on the road, and here it goes. Very slim line, very, very classy. I'm going to clean it up. Don't worry about that. So what we want to be careful is when we put that on there, that we don't give it an opportunity to sag. Because that's why I don't put them back in. That one's so cool, it has to go back into this. Because there's not going to be any AC in this one. So we've got to make sure that we really keep it stabilized. Now let's do the same thing with our tape. And I don't know if I can get that done, because here is our front piece. It's our front template. Okay? Now, oh goodness. Here, Ron made a mark right here. Okay? That's what he wants that vent centered on. Now I got to get down here and find how high up I came on this one. It might be easier. No, because coming down isn't going to work. So we were at 5 1/4 plus 5/8. So we're going to say 6 inches from here. I know you can't see that. I'm going to do the best I can. All right. So now I've got to take that mark down there. And now I'm going to take this tape and I'm going to go all the way to get my measurement. I hope this isn't boring you to death. I think it's very important. At least to me it is. Trying to be exacting on my standards. Okay, that goes to there. This is a lot harder because this metal is obviously much thinner. And I can only go about every 1.5 feet before I have to, oh, there we go, that made it easier. 6'1". 6'1". Okay, let's come over here. Let me boost you up a touch. Now, 6'1" will be over the door. This is not the door side, but Ron said we may be going with 2 doors. So that'd be a double door side. How would I even, I don't know. Just like the end of Rob the Rebuilder. He doesn't know how to say not the door side because it's door side, door side. Okay, let's go. 6 feet 1 inches is right here. And if I remember correctly, that opening's only about 9.5 inches. So we are far enough away from the end and from up here. So what we will do is put it right in the center. And I don't know why I was putting it on myself. I'm so sorry. But we'll split the difference and come this way half, that way half, and that's where we will put, we're going to use complete 1x4s. We do not want any sag. And what I might even do is just take like a piece of Luan and just put it around that square. Might elevate it just an eighth, maybe 2/8. I don't know. That's a quarter. I may do that just right in that area, just to keep the water sloughing off. Listen, here it is. I'm going to put some welting on first, and I'll take you to build this. All right, I see a lot happening. Let me take you through it, get you in the weeds a little bit. This is the bottom. That goes right there. We're going to run something across there just to brace that a little bit, and then something for this to screw into, okay? So I made my mark here. It's at the top. Then came over here and I went up. I'm going to put this one on center. That's why that says center. I know to put it on center. This one, I crossed it out, but then I put yes because I didn't mean to cross it out. And I put an arrow going this way because I want it on this side. You can see that's just heck for stout. Then I came up again on our mark. I'm going to center this one on that mark. Same here, center it on the mark. Then I see this one says I got to go that way. So this is at the very top. Good job. Thanks. That's the curve right here. That's the bottom of the curve right there. That's the top of the curve right there. That will allow that to be just a beautiful arch right there. Then I came over here. This is where the vent is going. So this has to go on here, that way. And it's 9 3/4 exact. So I went about 9 1/2-ish to give it space. And then we'll come up here and we'll mark, 24. And then we'll go 4 3/4 that way, 4 3/4 this way, and we'll run a piece across there. Now, I do need one more piece here. So I was just waiting to see. I don't want to cut another full piece. I think I have a piece over here by the saw that's less than 8 feet, but closer to 4. So I'm going to glue these down and clamp them. And that's probably all I'll do before lunch. Then I'll come back out and I will show you. That's a lot. It really is. But I just didn't know where to stop to make it, I guess if I was going to take one out, it'd be right there. But that's the only one I would really take out. And it's already there, It's already there. And that's where your head is going to be. Your head's going to be right up in that area. So let's just leave it there. Got the welting put on all the way back that 8 feet. On the other side here, the ceiling is finishing drying because it's only been a couple hours. It's dry enough, but it's not dry enough to make that bend. I mean, it would, but I don't want it to come loose. That anytime you put a bend on anything, you're putting pressure on it, taking that away, and I don't want to do that quite yet. So I put the welting on, and now I think I'm gonna, before I put the ceiling on anyway, I think I'm gonna build the shelf in front. Or it's not a shelf, it's a little cabinet. So I mocked this up. I may make it just a little shorter here, but I wanted to get an idea. And you gotta try to make sure that this is definitely on the bubble. And that's real close. So here's where we would be, and that looks kind of pretty close to original. It's not too big. The reason I want to take it probably something like this is just if you're sitting up, I want the natural bend to miss this. That's all. But it's in there, and he wanted it in there. And so it's going back in there. So I have cut this plywood right here. It's like the walls. So it's already 48. I got to get it down to 47. And then this right here, you can see I did make it a little bit smaller. So it is going to go on the shorter leg, and then this will be the face. So it'd be a little bigger on the face, but it's not going to jet out quite so much. So I'm going to get started on that. Working on the shelf. Look at how interesting that is. It's going to be a shame to put doors in it. I like to put a little here to come in from the wall, and that really sturdies it up. And I don't think we really need any along here because it's plywood and it's less than 4 feet. So we're going in through here on both of them, and that'll be plenty to hold the plywood up. I mean, worst case scenario, I may put one right here. This isn't that big of a deal because it's not load bearing so much as this may be. So I may run a little something right along there. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But that can go on at a later date. So I'm going to cut. Now these aren't going to be the most beautiful cutouts. I do the best I can because I will be using jigsaw and not the router. Because usually on the router, I'm just using Luan, and I have this framed, and you just hit the frame real nice. So that's not going to happen here, boys. Or could it? I don't know. Let me think about that. So what I did is I taped just to get a straight edge, and then I used, that's all, jigsaw, cut it out. I want to clean it up though. I know as soon as I take this tape off, there's going to be some bumps in there. It's probably not bad, but whatever. I'm going to take this on the router. And that's, if you remember, this is what we use to make our cabinet doors. And so I'm going to see if this won't clean this edge up. And I think I should probably take the tape off, or that will cause me some problems, I'll bet. So, all right, one last piece here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clean, but there's still, I mean, you just get a little wavy with the jigsaw. Let's see if this cleans it up or not. Well, even if it didn't clean it up, it classed it up. So I guess that's better than nothing. It's going to take some sanding anyway, so I didn't save any time, but yeah, it looks cool. It'll be all right. So let me work on that, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here on this one. These are the doors. Don't they look lovely? There's the back side. of our cabinet we just made. Got everything welted up. Let's take a look at the back. Hey, no, I'm all right. I'm okay. Jeez, it's a mess in here. Well, you can't really see too well with all that light coming in, but let me get you a little closer. Hopefully this comes out better, but there it is. Maybe I cannot fall down and look dumber than I already do. Give you some of that. There we go. I left pretty big doors, really, for the storage, because there's not going to be a whole lot in here. All right. That's where we got. I am not going to install the ceiling today. I'm going to let it set at least overnight. It might even be a week before I get back to it to put it on there. Just depends how I feel, because this is the weekend and it's Sunday night, so we'll just see how I feel.